Hey there, my name is Julian, and welcome to another episode of Webflow Weekly. So, there's been no new features this week in Webflow. That being said, we are gearing up for the Webflow Conf, and I think Webflow is just saving all of the stuff they're working on for that. So, stay tuned. There's probably going to be a pretty packed episode the week of Webflow Conf. This week, though, what we have from the Webflow community is some pretty cool stuff. As always, we have a custom bar chart, and I, for one, am not a fan of making charts in Webflow whatsoever. I usually use charts.js, which I don't even like, but it does the job. And we have a bunch of free templates as well. So let's get into that right now. All right, so first thing we have here is the custom CMS bar chart by the Efficiency Lab. They're new, I haven't seen them around, so hello Efficiency Lab. I'm excited to see more of your stuff, especially if you're dealing with charts in Webflow. Let's go ahead and open this and see what we're working with. So first things first, looks, quite nice. Trying to see if there's any sort of like tooltips. No, I don't think there are. We got some arrows here that we can actually change the chart, it seems like. Very nice interactions as well. Okay, so this looks great, and also their clonable wrapper just looks really nice. You can see I love these navs that have this gradient here, like this, where it just kind of fades out. It's not fully blocking off anything, it just slowly fades out. I'm a huge fan of that. And also take a look at this footer that just reveals itself behind. I don't know how to explain that, really, but you can see it. Look at it with your eyes. When you scroll up, it reveals like from under the content. I'm also a really big fan of that. That's neither here nor there. Let's go ahead and open this in Webflow and see how they made a custom CMS bar chart, because that is super cool to me. Haven't really seen too many of them in the past. So this is a collection list, and each one within it is an item. Very, very interesting. And then this right here, how is it sized? Data-chart equals fill. So I assume we have some custom code going on in here. Responsive code. Okay, so that's not what's covering that part. Let's take a look at the settings in here. Okay, so we've got some custom code down here, which seems to be what makes it work. Okay, so there are 150 lines. It would be really good if there was a tutorial associated with this, because since it is a CMS item, so if you're aware, within Webflow, you cannot actually copy and paste CMS linked items between projects. And that makes perfect sense because, well, it's linked to the CMS of Site A. Site B has a different CMS, so you can't just, copy it over. That's all well and good, but it is a little bit frustrating. So for anything like this, I love when there's a tutorial saying, like, here's how you unlink it, here's how you bring it in, and here is how you re-link it. Let's go ahead and take a look, though, at the CMS and see what this looks like. So there's sales data. So this is how you would structure it. You would have, I guess, for each given period, a data point. So sales data, September 2024, sales in USD, and then the month field as well. So that is pretty cool. That's an interesting way of going about it. That being said, you will need to make sure if you change any classes or anything like that, or if you copy it over, that classes don't get renamed, because then it might not work with the custom code. So anyways, to the Efficiency Lab, thank you. I think charts in Webflow are something that we really need to be taking a closer look at and seeing how we can do, because charts are a very common feature in sites. And I don't actually know of any like rock solid way to build good looking, responsive, clean charts. For example, if I'm building a React project, I will use something called recharts, and recharts just look beautiful, like right out of the box. They're responsive, they're lovely, but that's just React. It doesn't work in Webflow, unless you're using Webflow Cloud. We have videos on Webflow Cloud, so stay tuned for that, or for more videos, and go to our channel to watch the past ones. So now I want to go ahead and take a look at the next thing, which is a minimal designer portfolio by Rumit Vagasia. Hopefully I said that right, Rumit. Let me know in the comments if I did or if I absolutely butchered it. All right, so first things first, let's go ahead, pop it open live and see what we have here. So it looks super nice, super modern, super clean, right out of the box. Looks like we have some GSAP animations in there. We got a nice little line hover effect on the nav bar. No button hover. I'd love to see a button hover here. And then we have this. So really nice scroll in animations for everything. That I can definitely say. And I find a lot of designer portfolios have this kind of like, how do I explain it? Let's say uneven layout where there's like missing items in a grid, and it's kind of edgy, kind of funky. I think it's pretty cool. Typically, I wouldn't want to see that in a web design just because it's not what you would expect. But something that I want to touch on here is how ridiculous should your site be? So here's the thing. We can see all of this crazy stuff and these abnormal grids with missing sections, and it's an abnormal design. If you have a B2B SaaS, or if you are a like handyman service or something like that, I think this is a horrible idea, because I think your goal is to make your site usable and as easy as possible to digest the information. This is not that. That being said, there are certain things. So this is made to be a designer portfolio. Designers are supposed to show off their creativity, the cool stuff they're able to do, and how they think outside of the box. And if that's your goal for your website, then this abnormal, confusing stuff is a great idea. It's kind of like how I talk about crazy animations within Webflow sites. Again, if you are a B2B SaaS, you probably don't want these big layout breaking interactions. But if you are a Webflow agency, perhaps, your literal goal is to use your website to showcase how amazing your Webflow skills are. And in that case, you are allowed to break the laws of web design in order to achieve that goal. At least that's the way I see it. If you disagree, let me know in the comments. So anyways, back to this portfolio here. We got our services. We have this nice little scrolling out interaction, if you can see up here. Creepy robot looking thing. Okay, I'm assuming you're not going to use that in your live project. Very nice site, very nice layout, and it has, just like I said before, that like reveals itself below the content footer, and with this big thing that says the great up here. That is super cool. Now let's go pop it open in Webflow and see what we're working with. We'll see how it's built. We'll see which class naming system it is using. Okay, so we have a very happy Julian today because this is using client first, and I love client first. So if you don't know, I would say the main class naming systems in Webflow are probably client first by FinSuite, then Lumos by Timothy Ricks, and then Mast by Corey Moan. And I always talk about how I use client first because it's the most popular one. And that alone to me, whether or not it's the best class naming system, that makes it worth it to me because the function of my job is that I build stuff for others to use. And so the best class naming system to me is the class naming system that everyone else knows. But Lumos and Mast, I've heard, are really good. I know Lumos heavily uses components, and that's probably a really good idea. I don't use components very much. So yeah, I'm interested as always to hear from you in the comments about what you use, why you use it, if you've used client first and don't like it, or even if you use Lumos and don't like it. Let me know what your thoughts are because I honestly haven't taken the time to like really give these class naming systems a good run for their money. That would be a good video though. So anyways, we have client first here. This is a really, really nice looking site. Just a home page though, so keep that one in mind. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you, Rumit, again for this awesome one. Link is in the description if you want to clone it. The next thing we have here is another design portfolio by a very recurring face in these videos, and that is Yetmir Koichichi. He makes a whole bunch of stuff. Just go to his profile and just look at everything. Everything is on the money, looks super good. I absolutely love everything that he's made. I feel like there's more stuff than just this. He may have deleted some stuff, or maybe I'm wrong. But anyways, neither here nor there. Let's take a look at Lora Design Portfolio. Let's go ahead and open it in a new tab and see. Again, here we have, I'd say, a bit of an uncommon layout, but again, we have a designer portfolio. There should be a picture up here of someone else, so we're just going to wait for that. Oh, hello. There's Lora, I guess. Okay, seems like we've stopped loading here. So we have a nice smooth scroll. We have this nice sticky top bar, nav bar thing. The picture here just remains staring into your soul. Yeah, so simple. All of these click into projects though. So you click that. And again, we have a similar layout where you can see some pictures. This would be a really good portfolio as well for a photographer, I would say. I'm assuming you can have some like rich text going on in here. Let's go ahead and take a look and open in Webflow to see what we're working with. Okay, so I'm not so sure what class naming system this is. Obviously, it looks very intentional, and as I always say, that's the most important thing. But I'm not quite sure which. So we have about text. That looks super client first. Then we have like right info, middle info. I'm not quite sure. That being said, it's clearly very intentional. Let's take a look at mobile as well and see what we're working with. So now Lora pops up here at the top, and then we have our projects below that. As for pages, we also have an about page and we have a work page. I'm going to pop this open like this again. Oh, very nice. Okay, I'm going to click the about page and take a look at it live. Now Lora is on the left. We've got some logos going through here. We've got some services, software stack. Very nice. This is a super clean portfolio. I would totally use this portfolio. Just a big page of my work with some more stuff over here. Really nice project, Yetmir, as always. Great work. Love seeing your stuff pop up in the showcase. Everyone go give a look to his portfolio, his projects. Amazing designer, makes a lot of really cool stuff for the community. So check him out. And the next thing we have here is a chatbase.co clone homepage rebuild. I love these rebuilds. I love when people, you may remember we featured in one of the previous episodes a Huly, H-U-L-Y rebuild. That was incredible. I really like seeing people build these crazy, super expensive enterprise sites in Webflow to just show that it can be done and it's not that hard to do. That is a great thing there's a lot of developers out there, I find, specifically more traditional developers, perhaps WordPress developers. I love WordPress, but there's a lot of WordPress developers who believe that Webflow is just like a drag and drop, funky little amateur tool. That is not the case at all. Similar to how WordPress is not just a bloated plugin mess. It is if you make it that, and Webflow is an amateur drag and drop tool if you use it like that. But if you use either one of these tools like a professional, like you know what you're doing, both are amazing tools. And if you ever encounter a traditional / WordPress developer talking about how Webflow is a drag and drop tool, show them stuff like this. Show them the original site and show them the rebuild and say, hey, we can make anything with Webflow. So, don't talk like that about my boy Webflow. All right, anyways, we have this rebuild. These are beautiful. These are not done in Webflow. These are videos or something. We're going to find out after. Does this have other pages too? No, I don't think it does. I think this is a one-pager. We have some nice logos here. Really nice pictures, whatever these are, illustrations. Now, the team that made this, yes, we do web, can't probably take credit for these because I'm assuming they're from the chat-based website, but they're beautiful. So to the chat-based team that made these look really, really good. Then over here, we've got tabs as well with these videos, super clean interactions. I am absolutely loving this website. This section is awesome. This little bento grid here, I would totally use this. Usually, here's the thing, you're not just going to clone the chat-based site and like build a website with it because that's possibly illegal. I don't know if it's illegal, but regardless, it's probably not very ethical. That being said, let's say you really like this specific section, copy it, clone it, adapt it to your business, and you're good to go. And that is definitely what I would do with this site. Like these tab sections I think are awesome, and I think they could be used on a whole bunch of different websites. So go ahead, copy that, not the whole site, but just a couple sections and see how it works. Here we have a slider, which is absolutely awesome. We have another bento grid in here. And this is a really nice site. Again, I believe it's a one-pager. I can see my favorite words, FinSuite Client First right there. So that makes me happy. Let's go ahead and open it in Webflow and see what we are working with. So as it says, we have Client First, and I think we actually have Reloom in here. So I believe this was made with Reloom. That's even cooler. So if you don't know what Reloom is, go to a link in the description. We're going to show you how you can build a full site with Webflow AI in just a couple minutes. Now, I use Reloom all the time, and I think Reloom is amazing. That being said, I personally use Reloom to kind of generate layouts, generate designs, and do all of that for me. Whereas I know a lot of people use Reloom to build like pixel perfect designs as were generated from a Figma file. And if this is a clone of the chat-based website, then that is what this is. And that is absolutely amazing. So we've got our homepage over here. That's it. And we have a preview page. I'm not too sure what that does. I guess it's like a preview for the agency that made it. I always talk about how great of a marketing tactic Cloneables are, and this is no exception. So to the team at Yes We Do Web, amazing work. Love the site. And to anyone watching this, if you want to showcase your skills as a Webflow developer without needing to get real projects, my advice to you is clone other websites. Like this chat-based one, like the Hooli one that we covered a few weeks ago. If you can show clients that you can take a website and rebuild that website in Webflow perfectly, you don't need to have testimonials, clients, and all that jazz. You can show them with verifiable proof and a read-only link that you are able to look at something and rebuild it in Webflow perfectly. So you can have no experience, and I think that's the best way to get your first clients as a Webflow designer. Go pick some really cool, really good-looking sites. I just said Webflow designer. I don't even like that term. Webflow developer. You're developing sites. You're not designing them. Maybe you do that too, but in Webflow, you're developing them. Where was I going with that? Yes, the best thing to do, find some live, beautiful sites, rebuild them, show everyone what you're capable of. So anyways, enough yapping from me on that front. We're going to move into our second last clonable here from Flowify. Also a team that has been featured quite a few times on here, and this site is called Homeifye. This is a real estate agency website. It seems we have a little search up here, which I can only assume does not work. Oh, it works. Great. Okay, it works. That's awesome. Enough with the search. We've got new listings here. Really nice hover interactions. I don't know if this is intentional or something funky happened with the image, but this one's smaller than the others. That being said, really nice hover interactions. Nice scroll interactions as well. Wow. Let me know if anyone watching this video can afford Willow Heights for $290,000 a month. That's crazy. That would be a good purchase price. Don't know if I'd pay that per month, but that's neither here nor there. These are placeholders. Why am I arguing with placeholders? We got testimonials over here, which is a slider, which is awesome. We've got FAQs, a bit janky and jumpy, the FAQ animation. I'd probably fix that personally. Nice little CTA final section here and a beautiful footer. Along with that, we have a couple more pages. We have a properties grid page. We have a contact us page, and we have a properties details page. Ooh, this looks nice. I don't know if it's just... Oh, yeah, okay, it does work. Just didn't load for a sec. Nice looking interaction going on the slider. I'm a big fan of that. This is nice. I don't know where these icons came from, but they're beautiful. One suggestion I have for anyone who's building these templates is when you have these icons, share with people where you actually got the icons, because they may see these, love these, think they're beautiful, but they're building a different website, and so they're not going to be able to use the exact same icons because it's not going to make sense. So share where you got them and how you made them so that people can replicate that same look. Me personally, if you're wondering about icons, I use Reloom icons, so just literally Google Reloom icons. We'll leave a link in the description too. And you could search for anything. So let's say like a fan, for example. I'll search fan and we can see a bunch of stuff coming up over here. I can go ahead and copy that, for example. I might be able to actually paste it into the read-only link. Oh, right, we have not opened the read-only link yet. Okay, let's do that now. And then you could just paste it straight from Reloom, just like that. I'm gonna go ahead and try that now, see if it works. Okay, it says the clipboard is empty. Let's go ahead and try again. Okay, so it's read-only, so it's not working. But anyways, then you can change the color of it just by simply changing the text color. So here in Homeifye, we have a very nice, very clean class naming system. That's great. It's not client first. Looks like the Webflow marketplace standard. So great. Again, my favorite is client first. We all know that by now, but still very, very nice in here. And this to me is like, I would happily pay, you know, $30, $40 for this template if I was making a site like this for a client, and the team here is giving it to you for free. So thank you, Flowifye. Very nice template as always. Always happy to feature your templates because they're amazing. And finally, we have another one by Flowifye. So double thank you to Flowifye. And this one is a jewelry site. So let's go ahead and open it up. It seems like it's Webflow e-commerce. Very clean, very jewelry-esque, jewelry-centric, whatever you want to call it, design. Looks absolutely great. I'm going to add something to my cart and see what happens. So I actually haven't used Webflow e-commerce in a very long time. Okay, so checkout's disabled. That makes sense. That being said, what are people in the Webflow e-commerce space doing right now? Like, are you still just using native Webflow e-commerce? Are you using Smoothify with like a headless Shopify setup? What are you doing? What is the best way in 2025 to build an e-commerce site with Webflow? I also remember using something called FoxyCart. That was quite an interesting tool. Very good for many reasons. Very flexible too. So I know there's a lot of ways. There's also, I saw something recently called Cart Genie that came out. If anyone's using that, let me know. I'm really curious to know what the best way to make an e-commerce site with Webflow is these days. So this is a beautiful site, I just want to say. And I wonder how many pages we have. So we have home, shop, shop details, and contact us. Let's go and see what shop details looks like. And then let's open it up in Webflow, where I'm assuming we're also going to see the Webflow Marketplace class naming convention, similar to the last one. So let's go ahead and finally open that up in Webflow to see what we are working with. So indeed, we have Webflow Marketplace class naming conventions, and we have another beautiful and responsive site. So thank you very much to the team at Flowifye. And that concludes this week of Webflow Weekly. What do you want to see in the next one? We're looking to add some more kind of fun stuff to these videos, especially in the weeks where Webflow doesn't release any new features. We can't show you anything for that. So if there's anything you want to see, thank you for watching to this point, and I will see you in the next one.